Hello there, Pangs I'm Monitor, and welcome back to the F1 Roundup. It's the Black Sea Waddle, despite not recording that for about, I don't know, a few months. But yeah, welcome back to the F1 Roundup, and today we're going through the Dutch Grand Prix, as you can see from the wall of orange. It was an interesting Grand Prix, obviously. Let's just get the elephant out of the room. It is Max Verstappen's home race, and if he won the race, he equalled the record held by Sebastian Vettel. But let's talk with the big news. Daniel Ricciardo's injury. Had a crash and unfortunately broke his wrist and was ruled out and will miss Monza. And Christian Horner said after the Monza Grand Prix, which definitely hasn't happened, which I'm doing a back-to-back recording, I will openly admit. Yeah, he will be out till Singapore at the earliest, but won't be rushed back. So Liam Lawson made his debut in Formula 1, which could potentially cause havoc for the young driver test that we have to do. So for every car, you have to do the driver has to give up a car and give it to a person who's never done more than 2 Grand Prix to do some testing, and both drivers have to give up one session. So for AlphaTauri, they used Nick De Vries at the start of the season because he'd only done one race. That was their session, that was sorted. But the car Ricciardo was driving was the same car Nick De Vries was driving. So thus, it's the same car Liam Lawson's driving now. So it might actually create some havoc down the line. So he might have to get into Red Bull Junior to jump into Yuki Tsunoda's car and the 2 Red Bulls because they were all going to use Liam Lawson. But I must say, I was really impressed with qualifying. He's only done one practice session. He did P3, practice 3, and then qualifying. So understandably, was absolutely miles off the pace in qualifying. Absolutely understandably. It was also a difficult qualifying session. It must be stated, as it did get quick because it was mixed weather qualifying. He went through it all. So yeah, let's go through qualifying. So in Q1 we lost Lawson, Bottas, Magnussen, Ocon, Zhou Guanyu. Surprising to see Ocon go out. He's looked a bit better, and yeah, it was a bit surprising. Zhou Guanyu and Valtteri Bottas continue Alfa Romeo struggles. Neither of them are at their best. K-Mags continues his disappointing season, and obviously Liam Lawson, it's his first race. We're going to give him a free pass. That was only his ever second session in a Formula 1 Grand Prix weekend. So yeah, in Q2 we lost Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, and then Hamilton was impeded, so someone got a free place grid penalty. No, I can't remember because I didn't write it down. Gasly 12th, Stroll 11th, another disappointing weekend for Stroll and Hamilton. Well, not Hamilton, it's a rare disappointing weekend this season. But it's another disappointing weekend in qualifying for Stroll. Truthfully, I know he's the boss's son, but they have got to look at it and go, he is costing that team points and therefore money. Who do we go for? I think Drugovich would be better than Stroll, and I do think that. So I think they've got to make a change at the end of the season. I know he's contracted, but they've got to make that change. He's the biggest pay driver. He was alright, but he's been absolutely outshone by Fernando Alonso. So let's go through Q3. Logan Sargent, first Q3 appearance. He's really starting to show signs of improvement, which is really good to see. Charles Leclerc 9th, a disappointing weekend for Ferrari, and it only got worse for Charles, unfortunately. Piastri 8th, Perez 7th, another disappointing qualifying. He is having an absolute stinking run in qualifying. Carlos Sainz 5th, which is a 6th, sorry. Fernando Alonso 5th. Alexander Albon 4th. Wowee. What qualifying? He was actually fastest in Q1, fun fact for you. He was marvellous. Then George Russell 3rd, Lando Norris 2nd, and obviously Max 1st. So let's go through the race. Bizarre. So, it's absolutely poured it down after the first lap. Absolutely paused it down. So yeah, there was an absolute rain, and all the cars boxed within 2 or 3 laps. So, what went wrong was Verstappen, Norris, Albon, Russell, all those guys boxed too late. Even Verstappen, he was dropped to P13 at one point. All boxed too late, which meant Alonso jumped the pack. Gasly jumped the pack. He was right up there. And Perez was first to box and was in, P1 for until like 13 when he got overtaken by Max. It wasn't all Verstappen's own way until he overtook him, and when it really was. Fernando Alonso took second, and Gasly finished third. But Perez actually finished third on track, but got a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. In the final racing laps, Perez did enough to avoid dropping behind Carlos Sainz. But Lando Norris 7th, and Albon finished 8th. Who were the only two who tried to avoid the first rain period, who drove through it, and it cost him a bit. Russell was massively cost out by it. Yeah. Anyway, then, with about 8 laps to go, we had a red flag because of rain. Rain, I tell you. It was very heavy. So we had a 40-minute delay. And truthfully, it was about how it is. However, Perez got lucky because he had just pit for wet tyre intermediates as a red flag came out. And I think, it was good that he got put back in his position. I would have preferred he had to come up his lines, but okay, I understand. But it was good. A bad day for Mercedes, because while Perez benefited from the early showers, they were the big losers. They delayed their stops, which they got wrong. They tried to stick out on the slick tyres before it became apparent they were on the wrong strategy. Hamilton stopped on lap 3. Russell stopped lap 4, and they were dropped well out of the top 10 as a result. Russell then went to hard tyres for a long stint while Hamilton went for soft. Both made up ground as the race went on. Hamilton was 6th and Russell 8th final restart. But Russell unfortunately had a little collision with Norris at turn 11/12. He pitted thinking the car was broken, but went back out to take the flag. Unfortunately, it was just got wrong. They got it completely wrong. Albon did a 44-lap stint on his soft tyres for pitting out of 5th place, dropping to 11th. He soon moved back up to top 10 and took well-deserved points. Good performance from him. Let's go through the actual race. So our dump was Logan Sargent. He had a little bump on lap 14. Charles Leclerc had damage, but was miles off the pace, and he retired on lap 41. Zhou Guanyu retired for a little collision in lap 62. Russell actually finished stone dead last in 17th. Magnussen started from pit lane, finished 16th. Tsunoda 15th. Bottas 14th. Liam Lawson on debut, impressive 13th. Hulkenberg 12th. Stroll 11th. Ocon 10th. Piastri 9th. Albon 8th. Norris 7th. Hamilton 6th, where he recovered. Carlos Sainz 5th. Checo Perez 4th. Pierre Gasly gets his first podium in Alpine colours. Fernando Alonso returns to the podium in 2nd. And Max Verstappen equalled the all-time record in 1st. So thank you so much for watching this episode. We'll see you all in 2 weeks' time for the race at Monza. Thanks for watching. My name's Fab, and I'll see you all next time. But till then, toodaloo. See ya!